We know that virtual coaching has become more competitive than ever. NASM's got you covered with our virtual coaching course. NASM's virtual coaching course provides a complete solution to help you translate your services into a successful virtual platform. This course will give you the tools to build and operate a sustainable virtual business model. The formats may be different, but you're still delivering fitness training and effective behavioral coaching. That doesn't change even if you can't be in the same physical space as your clients. The truth is, this is the way to reach more clients and expand your reach and impact. There's never been a better time to carve out your very own virtual space, and NASM is here to help. Welcome to NASM's virtual coaching.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Random Fit, powered by the National Academy of Sports Medicine. My name is Wendy Batts, and I am here with the most amazing co-host, Mr. Kenneth Miller. How are you doing today, Ken?
I am great, Wendy. Good to hear from you. Good to see you, as always.
Always. So I always enjoy this time of our week. And I'm super excited about our topic today because we are going to talk about virtual training. As we know, it's not going anywhere. 2021 looks like we're still in, places on lockdown, and until we fully open up across the country, virtual training is now. It's just part of life for multiple trainers, but then also for many clients that have adapted and adopted to the world of virtual training. So I'm excited to talk about this topic, and I think you're going to be able to share some amazing stories. And I know that you're doing it, I'm doing it, and I think being able to kind of talk about the transition was a little bit crazy because it was like a complete halt. Let's start over and change our ways. And so why don't you kind of open us up a little bit and talk about how it's been for you and how you've made your business, like you've had to literally, because California is still closed, right? Or did they open back up?
Well, we're open for, and I'm speaking on behalf of the state of California. No, we are right now, as far as, as of this recording, gyms technically are open for outdoor only. Okay, which means if you've got access to a parking lot, if you happen to have an alleyway, anything outdoors, that's what you got available. So anything indoors, like in my facility over here, this is technically a no-no. As of last year, we were shut down mid-March, and the end of March, I had to get a Zoom account. I had to do like what every other trainer was doing who had adopted virtual training right off the get-go. As soon as there was talk and the spread of the virus, a lot of trainers adopted to it right away. So I was a little bit slower on the uptake, but as soon as I did it, it was a way for me to keep open communications. And because personal training is a lot of you observing your clients and seeing what they're doing and how they're doing it. You can't do it over the phone. There's no, okay, tell me what you're doing. Describe it to me. Wait. So where's your leg? Where's your knee now? Okay, are you on the ground? No, that's not right.
5 kinetic chain checkpoints, people.
Here, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. You can't do that. So you had to adopt. You had to change. And as soon as as someone like me who wants to be in front of people and is very tactile and cueing and using a lot of visualizations, it's something that not only as a personal trainer I had to adopt to, but the clients had to adapt to that. When you say adapt and adopt, clients had to get used to that as well. And it was a lifestyle change because now you had to introduce technology. I had clients having to dust off their iPads and their tablets and take out their computers and take their computers off the desk and put it on the floor or on the chair in the living room. So here's the thing, it was an adjustment on both sides of the screen. So myself as a personal trainer and my clients on their end. So they had to now clear out space, and I had to take inventory. What pieces of equipment do you have available? So it was a change, and here we are in 2021, and as much progress as some places have made as far as being open, facilities have opened. I mean, I'm still technically not open from an indoor standpoint. So, it's still with us, and it's here today, and it's going to be here with us for a long time, as we're about to discuss when it comes to virtual training.
Yes, I had the same experience, when they first shut us down in March. So I'm based out of Georgia, and, Georgia was one of the first states to open. But I know, like, when they shut everyone down, it was kind of like, all right, this is only going to happen for like a week or two. Like, I didn't realize that this is going to be still going on to date. I mean, we're in 2021 and we're still, trying to figure out if we're going to stay open, remain open, are there going to be certain guidelines and things like that. Yeah. But, for the first couple of weeks, I just called my clients, was asking them like, hey, how are you doing? How's everyone in your family? And, one of the reasons why I finally was like, okay, I'm going to have to do virtual coaching. I wanted to make a living, so I needed to eat, and, we needed to find ways to earn a living and to do the sessions. But also I didn't want my clients to lose what they had. And I have clients on all different levels. I've got some that are younger, I've got some that are high-end athletes, and then I've got some folks that are not very computer savvy. And so, for me too, I didn't really understand all of the components of Zoom. I mean, I knew how to set up a Zoom link and I could send it to them, and I was like, just click it, let's pray. But there's a little bit more to that, like to your point. And, once I said, let's try it out, let's see if it's a good fit for you and me, I realized that I actually enjoy virtual training. I mean, I still love, and I have the ability to go and work one-on-one with my clients. However, many of my clients can't come into the gym, and it's mainly because of, they're living with their older mother had moved in just based on they were the primary caretaker. You've got, young kids at school. So now they didn't have the freedom to drop them off and then come into the gym. So schedules were a big factor, timing was a big factor. And, I mean, people were just scared and still are, and you can't fault anyone for that. So I think, because of that, I know it made me a better trainer because I had to become more open-minded, and I had to be more creative. And to your point, I had to talk to everyone, find out what did they have at their home. Because I mean, if you went online and you went to Google and you're like, I want to order this dumbbell and this dumbbell or these bands, and it wasn't even Google, but you went to even some of these high-end places where I get a lot of my equipment, they were all sold out. I mean, immediately sold out. So then you had to say, okay, do you have milk jugs? Do you have soup cans? Like, I mean, the stuff that we talk about, we're like, do you really ever use that? Well, you know what? In March and April and May, I absolutely did, because that's all people had. And so, but I mean, I think adapting to it, now I get to do some sessions at home, like on Tuesdays and Thursdays are my virtual training days, and Mondays and Wednesdays are my in-person days, and Friday is the day for programming and all the other stuff that we do. I think it's great. Plus, I personally enjoy it. I can roll out of bed, brush my teeth, and make myself somewhat look presentable. And it's like, they don't know if I showered or not. So.
Yeah. Teeth brushing optional at that point. But
wow. No, okay, maybe for you.
Until smell-o-vision comes online, then it's not really that big. I'll brush my teeth after the set. So to your point, I mean, Wendy, it was one of those things in my facility. I loaned out equipment until equipment can be brought into the house, as far as my clients ordering and buying, because like you said, good luck a year ago finding 5s, 8s, 10s, 15s, 20s. Those were gone, right? So, so having the inventory that is needed to challenge the body and get the clients the good workout that they would get when they're with you was a big thing. But now that people are caught up, now I've got clients with, like I have in my display, I loaned out some of my recovery tools, like my volts and my spheres and all that stuff. So that was the other side of things, because they would come in, they would use a recovery tool, and then use that before they work out. So here we go. They had to borrow that and use it. So that was something that needed some adjusting. But now that we are deeper into it, we're now having inventory. So I've got clients with a closet now of equipment. So which gives us a lot more that we could do as far as their home workouts go. So it took a little time, but a lot of my clients now have better home workout facilities, equipped than I do at home.
Yes, I mean, it's same with me. I noticed that with my clients. I mean, when we think of virtual training, and I mean,
Yeah.
that's the whole purpose of this
Mhm.
podcast, is to really take some time and think about it. Because
Yeah.
from a consumer standpoint, if you've thought about thought about doing virtual training, and then you're thinking, well, you're not going to be able to, get the workout that you would face to face, you absolutely could. And I know, with myself as well as you can, if you have a really good trainer, and maybe have never done personal training before, maybe this is your time to start. Because if you've always had a hectic schedule, literally anywhere from 30 to 1 hour, depending on what the session is, you can, in a training session that we do, I mean, I know I can still do my assessments, which are the most important thing, that a trainer does, in my opinion, with any client. Because if you don't understand how someone's moving and finding and looking for possible compensations, you really can't design a program to help fix their movement patterns, which will help them realistically move better, feel better, perform better, and then get to those goals overall. And so you can still do assessments. You can still, cue someone, still go through the show, tell, do. I use a iPad when I actually do my virtual training, and I set it on the ground. I make sure that they can see me. I've got plenty of space. I demo what I want them to do, and it's reciprocated, whether it's their computer, their iPad. It's in a perfect placement. We set that up right before we even start. And then I'm like, hey, move me around, shift me over here. If we have to go to different parts of their home gym, if they have multiple pieces of equipment in different areas. But, you can absolutely have a fantastic workout, and then you can go onto your meeting or go on to something without the travel time and stuff like that. So as a consumer, if you've never done virtual training, I really think that there's so many amazing trainers out there that would love to have you as a client. And I know as a trainer, we would appreciate you guys coming to us. But, if you've never done virtual training as a personal trainer, it's definitely something that can increase your business. It can increase, your knowledge in trying to work with different populations and different environments. And I think it can be incredible for people to try if they haven't done it.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, because being virtual, you're not relegated by how far how long it takes you to travel somewhere, or how far somebody is. If we were in a live situation, or how long it takes for them to come to you. So having some clients that are still in high school, they can log off of a class and then work with me. And the other great part of it is that I can get referrals from friends or family of my clients that are nowhere near California, or nowhere near where I live. So your outreach from a virtual standpoint is greatly expanded, because now I have a client who referred her cousin, who's from Southern California, to me, and now we have just a semi-regular training program going virtually. I've never met her face to face. But like you said, it's just, you get to know somebody, and you figure out what's in their inventory, figure out their goals, you assess them online, and then you can program, design, and give them the cues that they need with your show, tell, do format. So your outreach is definitely there. And another story on top of that is, I was able to work with this group of gentlemen that I worked with at the country club that's about 40 miles away from me. And from there, we were able to reconnect, because I wasn't commuting to their neck of the woods here in the Bay Area anymore. And so we stopped training. But when I started to go back online, I reached out to them, I called them and say, hey, would you guys be up for some virtual training? So just log on, and we'll get the same group training workouts that we did when we were together, minus the equipment. And even to this day, they're with me twice a week. So from a financial standpoint, it's gotten me a couple more hours of training that I wouldn't have otherwise had, because I like these guys, but geography, The distance just kept us apart. Plus, I wasn't there anymore. But log in at 7 a.m., done at 8. They get on with their day, and I can go on to my next session. So from there, it's been a great opportunity to reconnect with past clients. So new clients, past clients, and augmenting how I meet with my current clients. So from a virtual training standpoint, it's gotten me a lot more connections than I otherwise wouldn't have had without it.
You make some great points. And for those of you guys that are just joining us, my name is Wendy Batts. I'm here with Ken Miller, and we're talking about virtual training and how it is here to stay. And Ken just pretty much nailed the fact of why we're doing this, because, we often hear multiple times, I don't know about virtual training in different perspectives. I've had my clients that were very doubtful, but now love it. I've had trainers that have said, I really want to do this. I just don't know how. And, we could talk about so many stories, because I've actually reunited with some of my clients that I wasn't able to, that kind of stopped coming to the gym. And it wasn't any financial reason or anything. It's just the timing. They could not make their session appointment. And, they were canceling more than coming. And so they just finally dropped off.
Mhm.
And so once I was checking on them, I cared about them. I wanted to make sure they were safe going through the pandemic. I wanted just to see how their family was doing. I let them know that I was going to be training virtually, and I asked if they wanted to give it a shot. And to me, it opened up the floodgates to get more people back. That I think if I didn't have to, if I didn't have a reason to reach out to them other than I just wanted to say hello, I might have missed out on that opportunity. So it's been fabulous for me to reconnect. And, people often ask me as well, like, what are your, what platform do you use? And I use a lot of different ones. I use FaceTime. I use Zoom. Those are usually my two primary, just based on what my clients have and what they prefer as well. But there are so many different platforms out there. I mean, I know there's, you've got Zoom, FaceTime, Google Meet. I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch, but
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could rattle that off for 30 minutes, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But, just treat it just like you would at the gym. Be very professional, be on time, just be very clear. Have the program in front of you. Don't make it up as you go. There's always going to be times where you may have to do, do a quick switch based on something that had happened. But I watch them, foam roll. I do it with them. I show everything. And then comes, how much do you charge? And so my answer to that is, it's going to totally be up to you. And every trainer has different thoughts on that. But my hour is my hour. And so it doesn't matter if I'm meeting with you face to face. It doesn't matter if I'm meeting with you virtually. My price personally did not change. Now, some people, because they don't have travel time and they added travel time into their sessions and stuff, they may have to lower their prices. But don't sell yourself short. And if you're a consumer, just understand you get what you pay for. So if you really want a high-end trainer, you want someone that's very confident in their ability to get you to your goal, you will still have to pay, a premium price. And it's definitely worth it, because I'll ask you, what is your health worth? And, people are like, oh, I never really thought of it that way. So I don't know if you charge anything different, Ken, personally, but.
No, I follow the same format you do. It's my time is my time, and for me to spend my time in because there's a lot of clients don't realize also that you spend you spend some time off camera as well, because if I'm working with you, let's say that example I brought up earlier, those gentlemen. They like to ski, they like to play tennis, they play pickleball, they do all these, they're athletes, even though, they're older in age, but I still have to program for everything their body's been through. So I'm sitting there, at the end of a session, planning for the next session, or the night before, thinking, okay, well, what does Jim, what does Greg, what does Cam need, and what can I put into the program that feeds all of them in this group training session? So if you're a trainer who plans, if you're a trainer that thinks about your clients and you're just not showing up, okay, what's that thing right behind you? Yeah, pick that up. Let's go ahead and do. Why don't you press it over your head? All right, do 15 of those. Yeah, perfect. All right, good. All right, get on the ground, go drink of water. Okay, no, if you're that type of trainer, you're not worth 5 cents. So put some thought in. Yeah, I know. Well, it's
It's true though.
it doesn't take a whole lot to say, okay, here, get up, get down, all right, do 20 sit-ups, all right, do 20 push-ups, all right, squat, lunge, perfect, all right, get a drink of water. It doesn't take that long. So when you're talking about your rate, and if you're a trainer that's worth his weight in gold, then it means you have to be professional. So you're dressed, you're ready, you're on time, you're logging in, they can log in early, you're spending time connecting with them. Okay, here's the plan, here's what we're gonna do today. Any questions? This is why we're gonna do it. Any questions? Okay, here's the first exercise. Any questions? All right, boom, right? So it's no different than if you have no different attention from me virtually compared to when we're together. And that's what you're paying for when it comes to personal training, any situation.
I agree. And I think you pretty much nailed it because, that's the beauty of NASM personally. I mean, obviously I hold that very dear and true to my heart because I think NASM has really been the foundation that's built my business and made me successful. But it doesn't matter if you're working at home or in the gym, follow the model, follow the acute variables, and set the program up that's in the best interest of your client. And to your point, if you're doing group settings, it's not about like this hard boot camp, like in giving quote punishment exercises. It's about being very strategic in your planning and your programming for all the individuals involved in that group, and having regressions and progressions and being able to adapt to the group if it's some people that may be new to the group and this is how you're running your business. But I think the way that virtual training can be successful is, you're successful by word of mouth too. And that's how you can really build your business. But another avenue that I did that's really kind of under the virtual training is kind of thinking about the training platforms that you can use to build programs. Because with me, I still want to see people, face to face, whether I say face to face in person or face to face on, FaceTime or whatever it is that I'm doing. But I also build programs for some people that are like, listen, you've taught me well. I know exactly what you want me to do, but I need programs that I can do. And I may not be able to meet on our Zoom sessions, and I'm going on vacation, but I still want workouts and plans. And I mean, you can charge for those. And, having a good training platform, I think, is also key. And I mean, I use the NASM Edge, but there are a ton out there. There's Trainerize. There's, I could go Coach Me Plus. You've got Fusionix. You've got, like a ton of different ones that you can literally build an actual workout. And inside that platform, when they log in, you're still connected to them. So you set the dates and times and also the duration that you want that program to be, for them to use. And you can build multiple and put them in the calendar at different days. And when they click on that day, you can see, did they log in, which I think is key because they really can't lie to you because you have a look in to see when the last time they logged in. But all of them also have, and I shouldn't say every platform's the same because they're not, but the ones that I use, they have exercise demo videos. And so if a client isn't familiar with that, they can, click on that one little button and it can show them exactly how to do it. I think that's important because, we're programming really good information in our brains, and we're making sure that the client's executing it correctly when they're with us. But you also want to teach them when you're not together, you still want them to do stuff. And so I think that can also enhance your business. And then as a consumer, it's another avenue for you to think of if you want to take on your health and you really want to look at 2021 as something to build a good base of, movement and exercise and programming and make yourself look, feel, and move better, then there are so many different options out there, and there are so many great trainers that are out there too that really, I know I keep saying that, but I'm so passionate about virtual training too because I do it and I know it works and it's helped so many people.
And for those personal trainers or strength coaches that are out there that are listening and watching us, when it comes to creating programs that your clients are going to follow when they're not with you, try to have sessions where you're introducing those exercises in why and how. Have them do it for you. Like say maybe the workout you do today with your client is the same workout they're going to do when they travel or when they're in the hotel or when they're visiting at their relative's place. So from there, make sure you give them some idea of how to do it, what to look for, some of the coaching points, as you will. Because if you do go on to, let's say, the NASM Edge app, and that's what they're using, at least they've been familiarized with it first, and then they can do it on their own. So that's one of the things I tell trainers who are virtual training is make sure you do at least, well, I'll say all the exercises with them first. I'll say at least 50, no, all of them. That way they know they're not learning from the machine. They're not learning from what's already there. Although a lot of the instructions on, let's say, the NASM Edge app, it's great instruction. You just want to see that for you to do this exercise right, you have a habit of arching your low back. So when you're doing this plank, make sure that we get a little bit of a posterior tilt, pull the belly button in, and again, tuck in your chin, ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles, and boom, you got it. All right. So go ahead and do 1 rep for me. Perfect. Good job. Do it just like that, and you're golden. So don't let the app train the client. You train the client and let the app guide them in your absence. And if you're a client, just know that when you're with your trainer and you tell them you're going to travel somewhere and you're not going to be with them, or they're going to use the app to augment their workouts, then tell them and say, hey, can you run me through this exercise routine, or can you run me through the next workout so I know I'm doing it right when I'm on my own?
And it's a great way too to give them their homework. And so oftentimes I know once we do the assessment and I see that there might have been multiple compensations, I actually do, use the platform to say, hey, these are the areas I want you to foam roll and stretch. And maybe here's, 2 or 3 activation exercises and maybe 1 full body or integration exercise. So kind of using more of the, corrective exercise continuum type thing. Because, they're focusing on different body parts and working out, doing more multi-joint exercises with me. But if they are like, man, how did she show me how to foam roll my upper hip? She called it some P word like piriformis or something. They have access to that. And you can say, hey, when you're on your show, watching TV, grab your roller, pull out your app, and you just go through the motions. And so therefore there's a lot of accountability that can still happen in virtual training. And I think sometimes that easily gets lost. And, and one suggestion that I have from both sides, whether you're a trainer or not, and you're, working out with a trainer, is look into some, really, I don't want to call it cheap exercise equipment, but look into mini bands now that more people now you can buy them, or look into some, light dumbbells, kind of spice it up, because your body will start to adapt to the same weight and the same things that you're doing over and over. And if you can just purchase things that aren't very expensive, that would be useful just for some different ways of doing a chest press or a row or something like that, you're going to benefit more than you think you will. And it'll also give more variety in your workout, so you don't, quote, get bored. Because there's so many different exercises that you can do with the band, upper body, lower body, and upper and lower together. And so, I would say, light dumbbells, mini bands, and again, you can look at the cost and see, what you feel like you could do. But if you, want to build a home gym without spending a lot of money, there definitely are some options out there.
On top of those sandbells, sandbags, things that you can slam down, things that you can work with power, or let's say a 30-pound ultimate sandbag, something along those lines, something that can address strength and power, and not just, the bands are great. You just need some place to anchor a lot of them if you're not stepping on it and using it for curls or something like that. But gradually you'll increase your inventory. But like you said, light dumbbells, bands, those are staple components to your home gym. Then you can increase with sand and water based tools and equipment, just because they offer so much variability to your workouts. And like you said, Wendy, variety is the spice of life. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, your body's going to adapt really, really fast. So you need things that you can do for multiple purposes. And I'm not just saying pull here, pull from that direction, pull from this direction, but things that are going to challenge stability, challenge strength, and challenge power. As we progress from stability, strength, power, have tools that complement what you're going to go for when it comes to how you want your body to change.
Great points. And just remember, if you are going to buy med balls, you're going to do power stuff and you're used to throwing things against your wall, like on a cement wall at the gym. Just remember, if you throw a ball in, any kind of wall at home, it's probably not coming back and you got a big hole to face.
Yeah, or if you've got downstairs neighbors, if you're in an apartment, that's jumping, all that stuff. You got to be, and those are great questions to ask when you're training somebody. But if you're the client, just know that, hey, I'd love to jump right now, but I got someone down there, or I'd love to jump, but my ceiling's only 8 feet tall, and I'm gonna drive my hands through those ceilings. So, all things you need to look at.
For sure. And I mean, I know, from my point of view, I think if you ask me what my, kind of key takeaways from all of this, I mean, I think it's mainly when you're thinking, and no offense, but on behalf of myself and my co-host, Ken Miller, when we're talking about virtual training, give it a shot because it literally opens the door. If you are a trainer, you can train anyone from anywhere at any time, as long as it works in both of your schedules. It gives you a variety of ways to kind of change up the daily grind of always going into a gym, but still allowing you to make money and doing the things that you're truly passionate about, which for most trainers, their passion is helping others, reach goals and changing lives and, working on their nutrition and working on, just the whole dynamic of health. And so I know, you can do different sessions, you can change it up, you can do groups, you can, work with the younger kids when they're on their little break. And sometimes they need that mental break from sitting in front of the computer now, instead of going in and doing, maybe running around with their kids on their friends or whatever, if they, have playtime. So I know those are my key takeaways, because I've heard so many positive things about virtual training, and then I've heard so many questions asked. And so I know on my behalf, one of the reasons we wanted to do that and why I was excited that when they said, hey, we've got a lot of questions, do you guys want to talk about it? We're like, heck yeah, bring it on. So I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that before we wrap it up.
Well, I think it's just an opportunity for trainers to, look beyond their local or regional area. As far as like what you're saying, Wendy, is like an opportunity to help people. Like I've mentioned, I'm helping clients that I otherwise would have not ever talked to ever again because of how far we are. But now I can work with referrals. So my client who's referring me, her cousin who is, all the way down in the southern part of the state, I can help that person. I can help, I've worked with athletes in Colorado, right? I've gotten, video calls going on, with people all over this country now, not to mention, just being able to augment what I'm doing with my current clients who can't physically be with me working out, either because of things going on their end or obligations on my end. So it's just an opportunity to increase your outreach. And, that's what we're about. We're about connecting and helping as many people as we can. And, for me to be on my side of the screen, you to be on your side of the screen, there's no reason why I can't help you.
Help me help you.
Hey, man, help me help you. Help me help you. Help me.
Wow. Okay, we're going down some crazy road.
Good times, Wendy.
Always. Well, Ken, thanks for for joining in on another awesome episode.
You're welcome, Wendy, and thank you for enlightening me on the all things virtual training. So, pleasure, Wendy. Until next time. So for those of you listening to us today here on Random Fit, thank you for spending your time with us. Follow, like, share, subscribe, download, all of those things on whatever platform you listen to your podcast on. And we'll keep things nice and fresh for you. So if there's anything you want to hear us talk about or you want to hear about regarding Random Fit, please let us know. So until next time, everybody, take care and be well.